I was saying 2007, the Nifty today closed at 3,060. I'm saying the range of the Nifty, in my opinion, I reserve the right to be wrong, is between 2,750 and 4,000 for this calendar year.
Not even 2,500. That's history.
I said the range. I'm making a judgment, boss. I'm not saying it. What am I saying is sacrosanct. I'm
asking what you think. I'm not saying it's written in stone.
So, I'll tell me what I think. No, the range is 2,750 to 4,000, and neither may never come. We don't know.
No, at some point they will come.
No, neither may not come. The range could be 2,800 to 3,500 or 3,400, whatever. But then one thing I want to add and explain to people, I made my first fortune in life in Madhu Ranvate's budget of 1989. Because the market was extremely bearish there. The expectation was he will give a budget where he will raise taxes and he'll increase the rate of minimum tax on companies, right? And there was such bearish sentiment, and I was a lone bull. And I bought and really made my life on that day. After that, I realized that any event which is uncertain, expectations of that event prior to that event actually happening is extremely important. So if we approach the elections with the idea that we are going to get uncertain government, and Vallabh wishes this investment, but he also knows it's not going to happen. I wish for some agriculture, steps to have an agricultural revolution in this country. I know it's not going to happen. That is the expectation with which all of us are entering the election results. So even if the results are not going to be in accordance with what the market wants, I don't think the damage is going to be so much as people are expecting.
That's a good point. Ridham, is there any way to construct an election portfolio? I know you've attempted something like that in one of your reports.
It's your job. You do it for your clients, not for TV.
No, he has done it already for his clients.
Well, for the time being, we are advising our clients to remain defensive, not get very aggressive. My range.
Explain that to us.
Yeah, I will. But just on the point that Rakesh made on his range for the Nifty. So my range for the Sensex actually is even wider. So that's the uncertainty that we're dealing, which is 7,000 to 15,000.
This year?
Yeah, for this
year. By December?
Yes, by December.
My peak is 13,200, 13,400. Yeah.
So my range is wider than his range, and I think there are reasons for that, because the market is still faced with a lot of uncertainty. Election is only one of them, as I mentioned earlier. I think this 8,000, 10,000 band is going to be history. So we will probably break out of it.
Thank you for saying that. I love that. We hate this range.
So defensive in the sense.
You don't like.
Sorry, 8 to 10,000 range.
You don't like.
Hate it. Hate it.
You start liking violence, it means. Too much volatility.
I love 15,000. Come on, tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a low probability outcome, but it's a possibility. The portfolio I think that investors want to hold is one which is focused on companies with good balance sheets, with reasonable cash flows, rather than one which is on companies which have got aggressive balance sheets. I think we still have that problem to overcome. We still have an NPL cycle. We'll see a lot of restructuring. There's a suggestion out there, investors are suggesting maybe we should start buying companies with high gearing, because the banks are going to fix them. And some of the valuations of these stocks are attractive. I wouldn't get aggressive about this right now. I think I'd stay in reasonable companies which, have got a reasonable growth in the next 12 months, and not get too adventurous with it. So consumer staples, maybe pharmaceuticals, maybe a little bit of telecoms.
I'm saying the range will be 2,750 to 4,000. You are saying Nifty may touch 3,850 to 4,000. I'm not saying it's going to. I said
no, it was followed by Nifty may also touch 27.
Anyway, the president and the wife, when they say something, don't argue.
Please, sorry.
Yeah.
Defensive.
Yeah. So essentially, I think focus on companies where you're dealing with good balance sheets and good cash flows, rather than get aggressive about companies whose growth rates are less predictable in the next 12 months.
And what is a high-risk portfolio in case the election outcome turns out to be a favorable one, either way, which will then deliver?
I think you want to buy domestic growth. So whether it's consumer discretionary or infrastructure, I think domestic growth will be the big theme. Now again, consumer discretionary has already done well in the last 6 months. A big surprise for me. We never expected that to happen. But clearly the market is looking ahead, and it seems to believe that growth is bottoming out, and consumer discretionary usually leads growth. If you go back to 2003, and in that economic recovery cycle and the market recovery, it was consumer discretionary stocks followed by industrials, followed by financials. I think it may not be very different. So again, consumer discretionary industrials will be the first two things you may want to buy.
Okay. We are coming to the end, and we'll take a couple of questions from the audience. But before that, I'll ask you a question to wear your psephologist hat. I know everybody gets elections wrong, but I just want your favored scenario, each of you, starting with you, Rakesh. No one will hold you to it. The best analysts go around. No, your best case scenario. What is your most likely scenario?
My desired scenario.
No. What do you think is most likely? Desired is anything which will push the Nifty to 4,000. So
I will say two things that... No, it's not so simple, then as you're making it up. One thing I want is that the communists should not be part even of supporting any government. That's my only one. Apart from that, and the second thing is that a government which is led with 150-60 seats, right, is, will have a more stable government. But it's my prediction, this election result is going to surprise.
On the positive side?
No, we don't know on what side. Just as, markets, just as the results in 2004 surprised all the sociologists, because you think of it here in UP, you are having a four-pronged contest. 1% change of vote can mean 20 seats. So it's going to surprise, and being the eternal optimist that I am, I think it's going to surprise on the upside. So I think either the Congress or the BJP is going to get more than 175 to 180 seats.
You think it's likely to?
I think it's likely to. I don't know which one of them.
Vallabh?
And I don't mean the allies, not them by them singly.
175 for just the Congress?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay. Vallabh?
I'm quite sure third front will come third.
That's a good one.
And I take a lot of courage from the state election results. They were the most sensible results you could expect. Good people came back to power. It didn't matter what age, what party. And I think it's a misfortune that over the next 1 month or so, or month and a half, we are going to hear the cacophony that we just experienced, and we are not hearing to the common man. We are not hearing the common man. There are several new factors in this election: delimitation, a lot of younger people, the percentage turnout is going to be higher, the issues, etc., etc. And therefore, I see an equal chance for NDA, UPA to be in the lead.
Fair enough.
Well, in our written research, we have assigned almost equal probabilities to each of the three. But if you put a gun on my head, then I think the repeat of 96 cannot be ruled out.
Which is?
Which you get some third front parties come together and
supported by the UP,
either the Congress or the BJP from outside.
You think that's the most likely outcome?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I hope you're wrong. I truly hope you're wrong. Okay, questions? Yes, Radio 1, our partner. You have some questions, can you please?
Prince Kohli from 94.3 Radio 1. And what basically I want to know is your take on how long will it take for us to have a prominent impact on the economy post the fiscal and monetary measures that need to be put into place.
Vallabh?
Ridham is economist, yeah.
Okay, Ridham.
I think it will depend on the confluence of global factors as well. So it is unlikely to happen before 2010.
All right.
So it will take a little while. I think the world is under a lot of stress, the Western world, the OECD world, and it will take a while for them to fix it. And to an extent that we're part of a global economy, I think it takes time for us as well. We're not in that much of distress, as I mentioned earlier. We're not in balance sheet distress, but growth surely will slow, and I think recovery is only something that I think will happen in 2010.
Amen to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of what has been for me a very educative session.